So Raizy, what does being a hasidic woman in the modern world mean to you? Like, how do you operate your life? Welcome to Life is Art. Enjoy.
I don't think it changes anything. I just have to be a little bit maybe conscious, especially at the beginning, of how some people might view me. There are certain things that if you don't look like a hasidic woman, you can get away with, and then it's very nuanced. And certain things, like if a hasidic woman is going to do it, people are going to be like, oh, this hasidic woman. So you have to just be conscious about it in a good way. You carry a big responsibility. You want to come across classy. Other people can get away doing certain things, and it's not even going to be wrong.
I don't know. So you find basically that to you, a hasidic woman is someone who embodies a ladiness.
A level of class.
A level of class.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I have to make sure to live up to that. Because you know what? If you're going to see this hasidic woman that, let's say, a very simple example, it's going to be like overly friendly to guys on the street. Suddenly they'll be like, oh, you're flirting. Like, in 5 counts, if a woman is like talking very friendly to a guy, it's not raising any bells. It's very normal, right? There's certain things
I don't know if it's so normal.
No, it's not normal?
I don't know.
Okay, so maybe we should skip it.
No, it's not normal.
I feel like it's not, it doesn't
sensitivity.
I don't know. I feel like certain things, because you come from this very sheltered community or very from, I don't know, I feel like the expectations are higher.
Mm-hmm. Meaning people are watching.
People are watching and people are judging. So if you're going out of line, you're like this tuna bagel.
Do you find that it's like sometimes for you, because I know that you're very open-minded and you're not so typical, let's say, so do you find that it's challenging for you to have this judgmental aspect in your society, in your circle?
At the beginning, I was very conscious about it. Now, I don't know, I don't find it challenging at all. But at the beginning, I was definitely very...
How do you not let it hold you back?
Hold back from what?
From thinking outside the box and being yourself.
I don't know. I guess that's my confidence, which is an inborn thing.
You do you.
Yeah.
And you just ignore.
And at the beginning, I definitely had a complex,
noise.
A little bit of complex, like certain things. And then I did it again and again, and I got used to it. Like I remember at the beginning when I used to I had the supermarket that I was doing social media for. So I used to go in and do stories of and I was very self-conscious. I was like, this woman is walking around taking stories, and she's hasidic. It's even it looks so weird. And it was 5 years ago. More. It was 7 years ago. So now everything's so normal already.
Right.
So I was a little conscious about it, but I said, no, it's fine. You're doing it. This is worth it for you.
Did you ever have a moment of conflict with other people based on what you're doing?
So just to wrap up that other thing, that it becomes normal. Meaning, the more you do it, then it feels normal. Now, regarding conflict, yes, definitely. Not as much as people might think, because the people I have a conflict with it a lot didn't know when I started. They didn't know what I was doing because they weren't on the platform, so they didn't see the stuff. And then the people that were on the platform, they couldn't admit that they were on the platform and they're watching, so they couldn't say any either. So there was a very small percentage that, so even the people that criticized said that oh, people sent in, people told us, you're posting this, you're posting that. So it wasn't such a big percentage. It was a small percentage. It was definitely painful to go through, but it just made me stronger. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, I never ever wanted to give it up. I never said oh, I can't do this. I was like, no, this is me.
Yeah.
When I found my voice, I was like, okay, so what's my other actions? To be begging on my hands and knees for magazines to publish my piece?
You're so
write
strong.
This little article? No, because that's it. You don't. This is the amazing time we live in, that everyone can have a voice. Everyone can impact this world. Everyone can share. If it's recipes, art, or inspiration. The other world is very complicated. You need protexia, you need pull, you need special entries. It's like you write this piece and then you're busy sending it all over the place for somebody to have mercy and find like it and want to print it. On social media, you could just write whatever you want. You could just
and
make
then people pick it up if they want it. Opportunity is so much.
Especially in our community, by the way, I keep seeing it time and again. It's so easy to make it. You just have to be enough artistic, enough creative, enough unique, have something funny, something interesting, something stand out, and you make it in no time. That's what I feel like in the Jewish community. You just have to be original. If you're just copying, nobody's interested.
No.
But if you come with something unique, it's not like in the bigger world where it's impossible to make it. I mean, of course, making it, it's all relative. You're not making it like you make it in Hollywood. But for our world, you could get pretty far.
Right.
In our world, all you need to do is just use your voice and be creative and be original. But if you're not using these resources we have, like social media, then you're literally begging and waiting for somebody to like.
So what do you say to the whole crowd, like the whole Lakewood crowd, who really they don't want to show their faces on Instagram? They're scared.
So you could still get far without your face, but it doesn't compare. You could post gorgeous art and people might pick it up because it's gorgeous even if you don't show your face.
So you don't think there's like so much like, I don't know, value in like there's a certain aspect of like being more tznius if you don't show your face on Instagram?
No, I write it in my book, the hina ba'oil. It's a myth. That's what Rabbi Manas Friedman says.
Really? Tell me about that.
Yeah. That's like the voice in our heads that says like, oh, but like it says Sarah, they always say hina ba'oil, she was in her tent, which means that the woman should be locked. He said that's not what it means. Sarah, she was Megayer all the women. She went out, she did kirov. That's taking the pasuk and translating it in a whole. And that's not the way it was meant to.
It could even be a fear-based thing.
Yes, and he told me that. What did he? I want to use his right words. He said that. I'm just going to open it up because I want to make sure. I think it was "Who Do You Think You Are" chapter. Okay, so he said, this is what he said. These are his words exactly. I recorded the conversation and I wrote down his words exactly. He says, that's not a hashkafa. That's just a bad habit. That's what he said on this whole thing that we heard in Beis Yaakov or wherever you went to school about hina ba'oil. It's just a bad habit. And said the greatest women in history were the business people. They handled the family business. They were out there. They were in the market, in the Yerid. There's no tradition that women have to stay home. And then he went on and he said all these beautiful things that you could read in the book.
Right, not about staying home. It's about hiding and not showing your face.
But that's what they're telling you.
So what do you think about the magazines?
That we learned from Sarah that she was home, which means we shouldn't be out.
About the fresh air. What do you think about the magazines?
From Women Have Faces?
Not showing your face.
Yeah,
I think it's right.
I don't think it's right either, but the issue is that we don't have, like, there was no print. So we can't, like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There's no print. But if you use your seichel, well, they were in the market. We don't wear veils on our faces. Like, if it was not tznius to show our faces, then Hashem would make that we should have to wear, like, the tznius rules would be, just like you have to cover your elbows, you have to cover your face. So that's what people say. But I wish we would have proof, like, we would be able to pull out something from, like, the 1800s and show that, like, there were faces, but there was no print then.
Right.
So, no, I'm definitely not against it. The From Women Have Faces movement.
Yeah,
No,
you're a breath of fresh air. Okay, can we talk about your book for a second? When you came out with this book, the second you showed it, I was like so impressed. Like it was just, I'm like, okay, I must read this book. I must get my hands in it. And then when I read it, when I was reading, I'm not like a quick, easy sell. Like I'm like, okay, let's see what she has to offer. Like it takes time, you know. Like there's so many books out there. When I opened up your book, first of all, it's gorgeous. Second of all, like the first page that you captivated the reader so well. I loved every single word. I read it so fast. I didn't put it down. I went home to read it. Like I really enjoyed it, not just saying it.
I'm happy to hear that.
And I recommend it. Like I tell everyone they should read this book. It's such a good book. It's such a you feel like you're like schmoozing with your best friend about real life, and it's exactly what like people need to hear. It's like real topics. It's just such a good, fun, amazing, spiritual, like learning. You don't realize you're even learning something because you're having fun.
Yeah,
it's just such a good book,
right.
Really so good. So it's like, what really inspired you to write this, and like the title? Can you talk about the title?
Okay, so the style of the book, like you said, I created what I like reading. I love reading these books. It's mostly secular. We don't have these kind of writing in our world. I don't know why. People are writing, women mostly, fiction or biographies, and if they're giving advice, it's more like the expert giving you chinuch advice. Like I'm not an expert, I'm just writing my story, so it's a whole different kind of language. Now, what inspired me to write the book? I had all these life experiences. I went through so much. I'm watching people struggle with the same things I struggled, mostly silently. They're very ashamed. People are really struggling with their life, just in survival mode, not feeling good. Low self-esteem kills you, and all this kind of stuff. And I felt like I want to share my experience with the world. It was in my mind. I kept on pushing it away. I was like, no, you don't have to write about this kind of book.
Right.
Like they tell you, stick to your art, stick to your trade,
right.
All that kind of stuff. But it was hurting me inside. It just needed to be released. It was in my head for years, just hurting me. I needed to release it. I needed to share it. And the book title, to me, I grew up with a lot of Yentas around me. And I want to explain that I also was a Yenta. But the thing is, I didn't even realize it was a bad thing. Like, everyone around me was gossiping. Everyone around me was screaming at their kids. Everyone around me was frustrated, martyred, so busy, working so hard, they're complaining. Everyone was in that space. And I know that Yenta literally doesn't translate to complaining, or Yenta doesn't literally translate to like being bitter. It translates to thriving over people's gossip, but it works hand in hand. So that's why the translation, the definition, sorry, not the translation, the definition is in the book of what a Yenta actually is in the Webster's dictionary. But to me, it's a personality that's so much bigger.
It's a byproduct.
And I grew up, part of them, I was that, and I didn't even realize something was wrong. In hindsight, I see that I was stuck. And I wanted women to understand you don't have to live that life for the rest of that phone call talking about how crazy she is for 3 hours is your highlight every day. And then you're just sweating and exhausted. And where did my whole day go? And my kids are almost coming home. This was a lifestyle. And it is sad. It is pathetic. Like, from time to time, I will get back into that for a very short period of time. Because like, it's this family drama.
It's your belief, like it's the systems that come in.
So let's see if there's family drama to deal with. I will spend
you need a validation. You need validation.
You just need to. And then I remind myself, this was my life. Now it's just like, okay, there's a wedding now, so I'm busy with it. But like, this used to be my life.
And you're stuck in
crazy.
That zone.
Just repeating to everyone what she said. And I called her and I said, and you heard yet? I said that.
So
carrying and bringing and mixing and
so negative.
It's such a bad space. So in the book, I took that, and why is it called the anatomy of Yenta? Because I took apart this behavior of what the cause is, and I believe it could be a lot of causes. It could be you're bored and unfulfilled. You never went after your curiosities. Like, you have no other interests. So that you're like, if I don't talk about people, what am I going to talk about? Like the trees, like Hashem, like Amuna. Like what am I talking about? Like, okay,
I love that.
It could be your friendship, like the people around you. This is the currency. Like, you want to stay relevant, you want to stay excited, you want everyone to want to talk to you and like want to schmooze with you. So you bring the good scoops.
Fruit. Yeah.
You bring the good scoops. So you're relevant. You know, like in preschool, you bring the good snacks if you want to have friends. So you have like good snacks. People want it from your snack. Or recess time, so you have friends. And as adults, some people, they just bring the good scoops.
Right.
Or it could be low self-esteem. People have horrible self-esteem. When they talk about how crazy the other person is, it makes them feel better, etc., etc. It could be running away from your traumas and whatever. So I go through all these different things, and then everything has a chapter. So there's a chapter on friendships and how to surround yourself with the right people.
It's really a work of art.
There's a chapter on 2 chapters actually on self-esteem, because that's like the bulk of the work, I think. And using your tafkid, because when you're doing meaningful work, like nothing else, you don't need anything else anymore. Like, I was just talking about, let's say something really off topic, but it's the same thing, like movies, like women that are obsessed over TV shows. A lot of women, this is their excitement in their life. They wait all day to put the kids to sleep so they can continue watching their stupid reality TV, okay? Literally. And I can relate to that. I used to be there years ago when I had 2 little children. Like, literally, sometimes I want to put the bed ready so I can go watch. Today's day, my life is so meaningful, so rich. Like, my life in itself is exciting. So at night, I'm just unwinding. I'm just doing it. Like, I don't need that. That used to be my whole life. The same thing with the gossip. It's like, when you live a rich and meaningful life that is so deeply fulfilling, you're not looking for these empty,
So fill yourself up. Fill up your own cup, right?
Yeah.
Where do you consider yourself a writer? Like, how did you write this book? Like,
that's a funny question.
It's a good
question. No, nobody ever asked it to me, but actually, I was actually thinking of writing an acknowledgement, but then I decided not to do acknowledgements because then I was afraid of going to omit people, so I just skipped the whole thing. And there's a lot of acknowledgements like woven into, like, I talk about my amazing friends, I talk about my husband. So basically, this was so funny. I was posting on Instagram, and on Instagram, you don't do serious writing, but you do like captions. I remember I had a friend, she was a pretty new friend, and she told me one day like something, "You're a writer, you could do that." I'm like, I was thinking to myself, I'm a writer? I'm not a writer. I didn't tell her because I always had like a little bit of fake it till you make it, so I'm not telling her what I'm thinking. And then I had a different person calling me up. I wasn't even writing officially then yet. Then I started writing for magazines. And he was like, I see your posts. I see the way you write. I want you to write. I see you know how to write. I want to hire you to write. I'm like, oh, people actually think I'm right. Okay, let me try. And I slowly and then I wrote an article, and then I wrote another article, and then I felt confident to write a book.
Wow.
But I never decided I'm going to be a writer one day. So when you ask me if I'm a writer, I guess by now I'm a writer. But other people saw that in me before I saw it in myself.
So you didn't feel like imposter syndrome when you wrote the book? Like, it wasn't like you were coming into a different...
By the time I wrote the book, no.
Like you were like, this is me.
I think with that first book, I probably was more.
What was your first book?
It was a cookbook, but they had a lot of like chapters before written, like lifestyle things.
What was like one of the most challenging parts of writing the book, like emotionally or something that you felt, or just like getting it done, like the project?
I think the most challenging part was like saying the story without the names and the details and being vague, but yet so I focused a lot on the emotions. I focused a lot on, like, let's say being bullied. I focused on how I felt.
Your emotions.
It was very tricky.
Is there a particular story or a message in the book that, like, you would want to relate to everybody? Or that's just like about the gossip?
Nothing. You're meant to be more. We're all destined to be more than just a pathetic Yenta. Stop wasting all your days.
I love it, Raizy. Let's talk a little bit about motherhood, because, this is our stage of life. So how do you balance I know, like, I talk about this a lot, and I actually just spoke about this concept of, like, it's so hard when you're a creative person and you're a mother, because sometimes you just have this itch to go and do the thing that you want to do, and then you're bogged down with your kid, and they're kind of annoying, even though you don't mean for them to be. And later on, the fire goes away, and then you don't have that creative. You need it to, like, strike when it's hot. And I find that this, like, dichotomy of being a creative person and a mother sometimes gets very conflicting, and there's, like, feelings of guilt on both ends. Sometimes when you're creating, you want to be with your kids, and when you're with your kids, you want to be creating. So, like, how do you work with that?
So first of all, support helps. Sometimes you can hire support, and sometimes you're just plain lucky. So I'm lucky with my husband that he's very supportive. I hire the right cleaning lady. That's something that I can do.
Right.
That can help with the housework. And then there's the issue with that is also guilt. Like, let's say if I'm running away to do something, a project, I'll feel guilty that I wasn't home, even with children. So I have to deal with mom guilt, which is something that I realize all moms struggle with, even the ones that are sitting home, not doing anything, and just focused on their kids. Also, like, being realistic. When I go away, let's say for 3 hours to do something, I'm going to feel so guilty that I wasn't with my kids. But that stay-at-home mom that's yapping on the phone for 3 hours, and she's like, to follow, because, like, her kid is disturbing her because she has very important gossip to say, not even feeling guilty. So not necessarily are you giving your children less because you're being creative. Someone was just saying that
yesterday. Yeah, she's like, there are people that are staying home with their kids and they're not even with their kids. So, like, it's not even about that. And I think that sometimes parents kid themselves by saying when they work hard and when they're out of the house and they're like, well, I'm working hard for you. And no, you're not. You're working hard for yourself because you want to further your career. And let's be honest. And I think when you can honestly say, I'm working hard for myself because I want to fill up my own cup and I want to be happy, essentially, I am also doing it for you, because then you have a happy, fuller mother. So it does go full circle if we're honest. But
I also think it's a lifestyle. It's the first time I'm saying it, so maybe it's not totally formulated in my mind, but I think it's a lifestyle. I think the children do grow up differently when there's a career woman as a mom. But that doesn't mean that it's a bad way of growing up. They're more independent because the mother is more independent. She's less like...
So it builds character.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It doesn't mean that it's a bad thing that the children grow to be a little bit more independent and they learn to figure it out on themselves. It might sound a little harsh if you don't get it, but I think if you get it, it doesn't sound harsh.
Right, it's part of life.
I was actually very independent and my mother didn't even work. So I'm just saying, like, I was independent because I'm an independent personality.
Right.
But I think there's, like, nature versus nurture.
Right.
So you could nurture something. And I don't think it's a bad thing.
Right. I love that.
Like, like the kids that never, like, moved out of, like, let's say they live in Borough Park, it's very expensive because they need to go get the fish from their mother's house. Like, they didn't build a life of their own. They didn't move, like, I wasn't so, like, dependent on my mother. So I was able to, like, buy a house sooner. Yes, it's far in Lakewood, but, like, I just created my own life. Some people never created their own life and they're only, like, their mother-in-law.
Right, they're a little bit, like, handicapped in a way because they're...
I don't know if it's handicapped. It's a nice thing. I'm not going to diss it. It's a nice thing. It's just, I don't think that that's necessarily better. It's just a different way of being.
Right.
So I don't think we have to feel guilty for how we're raising our children. We are raising them differently. It's not the same.
So how do you and your husband support each other's goals? Because, like, you're both working and doing a lot.
My husband is very supportive. That I could say, how am I supporting him? Let me think. I don't know. Let him do it. I give him his independence. I don't know. What do you think? Where can it be challenging? Like, what's your question? Like, what do you think? Give me an example of where I might be challenged. that I'm not picking up on? Like, what are you referring to?
I don't know, because you're both very entrepreneurial, you're both working, you're both, creating and building.
I think it's also like the support system. We both have our own friends. We're not waiting on each other all day. We definitely want to spend time with each other. And if we're very busy for 2 days and we didn't talk, we feel it. And we're like, we have to talk, and we'll make a date night. But sometimes when a husband doesn't have friends, or a woman doesn't have friends, especially when a woman doesn't have friends, and she's waiting on like her husband to fill that need, that's very challenging. And then you can't both be like in your own zone, sort of, with her. Like, he has his support system, I have mine. We both support each other as well, but there has to be all the elements.
Right.
Because if not, one person needs the other person a lot, like, to accomplish their goal, and it just sets it off balance, I feel like.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. So you strike me as someone who's very driven. How do you work with goals? How do you get things done?
I am very driven. And I think because I'm very driven.
How do you keep yourself accountable?
I think because it's so natural to me, I don't even know how to give tips, because it's not something that I cultivated or learned or trained myself for.
Right.
It's just very natural.
So
I have very lists. I'm a list. I have goals.
Now, it's very internal.
Yeah, I have a big project I want to work. It might take me some time to get into it. Like, sometimes I'm too busy, but no, I'm going to make it now. After Pesach, I'm going to focus on this project.
So you give yourself deadlines, and then you work.
Yeah.
You work backwards.
The big things, like the books and the
how did you? Yeah, like this book. Like no one was on top of the book. No one forced you to do it.
I knew I wanted to come out.
How did you do it?
So I knew that the perfect time for me to come out with this is right after Yom Tov. So I have the Hanukkah gift season, and I have like the beginning of the winter where people are going to be cozying up, taking care of themselves, not Erev Yom Tov, like buy myself a good book, market it that way.
Wow.
So in order for it to be, then it has to be done and go into print in August. So that was my deadline. I had a deadline. Not because like if I'm writing a book already, I don't want it to come out in a bad timing. I want it to come out in the best time, so it should be successful.
Okay, I might take your tip on that. Yeah. What do you do? How do you keep yourself motivated when you have feelings of self-doubt come creeping in? Or you get a negative comment, or it's hard, like these things seep into us. Like, how do you keep yourself going?
So I think those things are harder at the beginning. At this point, it's not so hard because I have like the positive feedback to back it up. So I'm like, okay, there's this one woman that has an issue with whatever I'm doing, but like, I know that overly it's really appreciated, and women need this, and I have all like the positive feedback to fall onto, which sort of like validates that what I'm doing is right. But at the beginning, when you don't have that fan base yet, that's when it's very challenging.
Right, because everything could rock the boat.
Because you're constantly self-doubting yourself. Now, I know, like, little things, like even just the fact of like the women that support me. And what does support mean? Like, even just like that they compliment me from time to time. I know they're reading my book, or they like my book, or they were on my show, or they're watching my show. And I respect her. Like, she has a big organization or whatever it is. I think so the fact that she's supporting me makes me already feel good. So I know I have like this, it's not like a real physical group of women cheering me on, but it's like the connections you get, the messaging you get. So, okay, so like two people think that like I'm ruining Klal Yisrael by saying something, or like I'm being very blasphemous or whatever. Like, people have issues always, but today's day, it gets drowned out by all the positive feedback. At the beginning, you don't have that. And
you're very strong, because even some people say that one comment, even with 90 positive, one comment still really gets to them.
I think if it really gets to them, it's probably like touching on insecurity, which they have to work through. Because that happens to me also. Like, it's going to be...
You're so right.
I'm very, very, very... It's like a raw spot. They hit a raw nerve. If the nerve that they're hitting is not raw, it's not going to get... Like, you're going to be laughing. You're going to be like a ridiculous lady. Like the message I shared to you before.
That's so true.
You know? But then you have to do deeper work if it's like really messing you up, I think.
What message, I'm just reading this, do you hope your content and book leave behind with other women, especially those who feel they have to choose between tradition and ambition? Like, if someone has like a similar feeling to you, like, what would you tell them?
That it's not a contradiction. And it was never meant to be. Look at Miriam Anavia. Look at all these amazing, powerful women. Even Sarah Schneer. The funny, ironic part is, like, there's so many books written about her. Maybe there is, and I didn't get my hands on it yet, but is there a book with a real story? I don't think so. The kind of flack that she got from communities were like niche things where like people were against her, let's say anti-Zionist communities were against her because she was together with a Gouda that was like backing Israel, and they were totally against it. But today's day, those communities the girls are all going to school. Her legacy lives on in those communities that were against her because all those girls are going to school today's day. They're not sitting at home. So, and all these books that we read, it doesn't say all those stories. And that's what gets me upset as well. And that's what fueled the little bit of the book. Like, give me the real story.
Wow.
Don't just come and just go on and on about your artistic journey and how you went and you painted. And no, there were a lot of tough stuff you had to go through. And I want to hear about that. Because if I don't hear about that, when I go through the tough stuff, I think,
I'm going to
okay,
think I'm not normal.
I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
But if I know that everyone went through tough stuff.
Literally, that's why sometimes I would go to my therapist. I didn't even care for her advice. I know the advice. I could tell you the problem and I'll tell you the solution. I'm like, I'm paying you $250 for this hour. So all you need to tell me is that the client before and the client before and the client before was the same as me. And that's why I'm coming to you. Like, you just want to feel normal.
Right.
That's it. Like, I don't need anything else. And yeah, the more we hear from people how like the vulnerable, I was just talking to, I run a chabura once a week. And we had one before Purim, and it was like this concept of like taking off the mask and being vulnerable. And we don't realize that when we're vulnerable, we're giving someone else life. Like, you're doing so much more than you even realize. It's the craziest thing. Like, you make people feel so seen and heard and normal, and they just feel comfortable. They feel like they belong in the world because someone else had the same thing, you know?
Right. And eventually you're inspiring them to open up, which just creates this
let's
beautiful
just be
cycle
normal
and circle
and real,
right?
And stop being so fake. And I think in our Jewish world, everything needs to be so glossed over and so perfect and so beautiful. And who are we kidding? Like, the monsters are all in the closet.
Yeah, because the biographies are written and they're this thick. You ever picked up a biography, the Jewish ones, like from certain publishers? They're this thick, and they're only with nice stories about this gadol. There aren't the
right.
The
I think
mud.
about that
I want
too.
the mud. I want to know. I want
to know how hard it was. I also think about
that. They all
like,
went through crazy stuff.
Wow,
Every single
I
one
know.
of them.
Their life sounds like
anyone
amazing.
that accomplished something. If it's a sefer that they wrote, or if they had like a whole crowd of hasidim, they were definitely many people that wanted to bring them down, that were against, that thought that this is not the way of Yiddishkeit and this is not the.
They were human. They were living life.
Yeah.
They were human beings.
And you're not going to read them. The book is this thick, and you're not going to know. You're just going to know, like, oh, special neshama, did all these amazing miracles, and bye. No, I'm very upset about that.
Interesting. Wow, I like that.
No, because think about our Torah.
I like that.
Think about our Torah. We read about
David
Mechiras Yosef.
Yeah, I know,
right?
the most dysfunctional family in the world.
They're crazy. They took their brother. They wanted to kill their brother.
They sold their brother.
Right? There was no glossing over. Talk about from women have faces. If that's a line to Torah, this is not a line. Giving out this book about this gadol with like totally missing the point.
So true.
What does our Torah teach us? That you should say the whole story. Why?
Guys, let's
because
be real.
This is
be
a
real.
transcript.
It's so true.
But why does the Torah write the whole story? So that we can see ourselves in the story and learn they had these challenges. David HaMelech is like the most you said
David HaMelech.
The most craziest stories. He had so much nisyonis. Like you watch him like sin and get over it and do tshuva. It's to teach us that it's you never give up hope. You could do like the worst things. He committed adultery.
Even more, I think the tzaddikim all came from like dysfunctional backgrounds because like.
Why they were Mashiach? Yeah. If you think about David HaMelech, I'm giving more names of that lineage because I forgot, but like Mashiach is going to be a descendant of David HaMelech, is basically from this dysfunctional lineage. So it's just amazing.
Right, and it just gives us so much chizuk and hope. We don't have to run away from your whole story. Embrace it and like make it who you are, and then rise above it.
Yeah, and like the Torah is the opposite of what all these Jewish published books are. The Torah is so juicy. Like you read all these crazy stories of like swapping sisters and like the shvatim and all everything. Everything is in there. And then like in the Jewish book, you can't write like she faced adversity or like that people didn't like her.
It's so true. It's such a good point. I love it.
It's like, telling you this. I always think about this. Like I always think about this. Living this Jewish life. Like I don't even know if this is what Hashem had in mind. So the way
we live a Jewish social life. It's social.
Basically, I console myself by saying, listen, I'm doing mine. How am I supposed to know what it was like a few thousand years ago? I don't know. And I'm not expected to know. Hashem doesn't expect me to know. So I'm following my Gedolim. I'm following the path that was laid out after all these years in Gullus. We don't even know what it's supposed to look like, but there is this beautiful story that somebody told me once, and it's something I always think about. Basically, there was this community of people that decided they're fed up with Yiddishkeit. They have no koich anymore. That's it. They want to give back the Torah to Hashem. They don't want. So they decide on a date that everyone's going to bring all their stuff to like a place outside the community, and we're going to give it back to Hashem. Like that's it. So everyone bought their leichters and their bekachas and their Torahs and all their Jewish items, the dresses, the stuff, and they put everything down outside the community. Now Hashem came down. Obviously, it's not a real story, right? It's like a parable. Hashem came down. He took the Torah. And he said, this is all I gave you. And he took that back up. All this other stuff, I don't know. Like, I didn't give you this. Like, no, all your other stuff. Which means that, like, we might be leading a lifestyle. It's not even, we're so many years in Galus, we don't even know. We're so far away from the core, from the last time we saw, like, open, the Shekhinah. So I keep that in mind. And not in a disempowering way where I'm like, oh, I don't know if this thing, so I'm going to drop it all. No, I also have to give myself the messaging of, like, I'm doing the best I can, and this is what Galus is really all about. This grayness, like the lack of clarity. Mashiach is not just the Beis HaMikdash, it's also like the clarity. That's what when I'm thinking Mashiach, of course I'm thinking about all the sick people that I want.
Yeah, the intuition's gonna come in so clear.
What's it called? The main, I forgot the word that I was looking for, but the main thing that excites me is the clarity that I'll get. That I'll know, what does Hashem really want? What did Hashem have in mind for us? Is this really Yiddishkeit, or is this all fluff and marketing? A lot is marketing. So that's what I'm looking for.
You're going to get the clarity, and Mashiach's going to come when more and more and more people have the clarity. But it's our job to start wanting to get the clarity, and we get the clarity by looking inwards. It's not always about, like, I find that I was talking to someone about this, and like we were both saying this like Rebbitzin, I find a lot of times that, but maybe because of like Jewish society and how we are, I don't know, we're all looking outside of ourselves. Oh, I don't know, I have to ask the rabbi. I have to ask a shayla. I have to see. Did you ask someone? Did you find out? Where'd you find that from? Like, everything is like outside of us. We have to always ask. But what's if we know? Like, what's if you can ask yourself first, and maybe and the more you go inwards and the more you connect inside and try to think, daven first for the answer, connect. You find the answers, right? And that's intuition.
Right, all the answers are inside of you. A good coach, when you go to a good coach or a therapist, they don't tell you what to do. They keep on asking you questions so that you get to the answer yourself.
Exactly, because we all have it inside.
They teach you how to self-coach yourself. Right. All of our answers and our truth is we really know what's right for us.
Yeah, I know. Someone one time asked, like, did you ask Rabbi? I'm like, I already know the answer. Why do I need to ask the rabbi? Like, I know how to live my life,
That's what kind of questions, but
Yeah, but more and more and more, the more we have more trust in ourselves, the more we can ignite our inner intuition. That's part of Mashiach coming. We're bringing down Mashiach by opening up our intuition. Right. We have to learn to trust ourselves.
Right.
So I want to know a little bit about your show and what inspired you to create it, and like how it's going for you.
What inspired me is I saw a void. I saw a void of like a bunch of frum women. There are a lot of hot topics we need chizik on, like with our marriage, with our motherhood, self-growth. And there's a lot of topics that are not discussed in the magazines because the magazines are very busy with being teen-friendly, and people are very paranoid about what their teens are going to read. Mm-hmm. And yes, you can get all those topics online from secular sources, but there's something so beautiful when you find somebody Jewish with the right hashkafa teaches it could be a topic like menopause, which is a scientific body, nothing
I love
Jewish
how your
about
show
it.
also ranges from like all fun, light to heavy.
Fun, light, women's wellness, and then you'll find like marriage and parenting and kitchen or it's all everything.
Yeah.
Because that's what I want. Our lives. I don't know about you,
Lifestyle.
but I feel like I'm like switching on and off different gears. Like that's our life. It's multidimensional. I almost said multi-dysfunctional.
Freudian slip, right? Is that what it is?
Multidimensional. Like, no, that's not what you want to say. Yeah. So multidimensional, and I wanted a platform that could give us support in all these areas in life. Another issue with the magazines is a lot of times they have great articles, amazing, but it's with a pen name, so you don't know who's saying it. There is a difference when you can see the woman, she's owning what she's saying. First of all, the fact that she is sitting with her face She's not blocking her face, her voice, not using a pen.
Right.
It's like, oh, she's saying this and she's not embarrassed to say this because this is so normal.
Right.
Or like, oh, she thinks like that too, so I'm not crazy for thinking that.
Right.
Like, there's so much empowerment that comes from just that, from just, again, like using our voices, not being with all these voices in our head of like, what do you think you are? Not hiding, that's a scam.
Right, and
so,
offering people like such meaningful,
right.
good content.
You could get everything
And you
from
like, you
secular
said that you
sources.
like to also like stay away a little bit from Instagram because it's like too much these days.
So that was more about, let me just finish this other thing that I still, let's say menopause, I started saying, which is, doesn't necessarily have to be a Jewish, it could be any doctor can tell you about it. But there's something so beautiful when you have a woman that's leading a right lifestyle and she comes and she tells you about the geula period of your marriage, like bringing that all together with like your body at that time. It's just so beautiful. You don't get that on the internet. There's something beautiful. Also, like the women are talking about our challenges. They're leading lifestyles like we live. It's like you're talking our language. So then you asked me about Instagram. So the thing with Instagram was that I felt I had more to offer, and I felt you can't really get into the heart of any topic on Instagram because people's attention spans are like this small on Instagram.
Right.
So like to get really into a topic, I feel like you need some time, and then people don't have the time, and then people hear half the sentences, and then they start messaging you like they didn't even listen to the whole clip. So I wanted to use my koiches, use my passion, like give over this material, but I needed the right platform for it, and I didn't feel like Instagram was the right platform for it.
How did you decide to create an app? Like that was very cool.
Because I wanted it to be like practical. So you want to be on your browser, or you want something that you can do picture in picture so that you can WhatsApp your friend while you're watching it, like, what picture in picture is? Like the screen can, So I wanted it to be practical because it's not practical and it gets clumsy. We're in a tech savvy world.
Everyone's
We have to make inspiration practical, convenient, and just with the times.
Where do you see, as like someone who's very goal oriented and ambitious, where do you see yourself, your brand going in the next 5 years? What's your vision?
I don't really know. I would love to get to more communities. I feel like Instagram is out there and I have a very diverse audience. It's very interesting, actually. Like people think like, okay, you want to target hasidic audience, we take you. I speak mostly to not hasidic people, not from people. Like women on their journey back to Yiddishkeit or just like all kinds of Jews, really all kinds of Jews. And it's actually very interesting, but I still feel like the Jewish world is so big, so I'd love to get to more communities. And
the Jewish world is so big.
Yeah.
I just went to Shandy Plotzker's concert, and it was like incredible to see the Jewish world in real time. It's huge. Like we have so much work to do just in our community.
Right, it's huge.
It's huge.
By the way, like from your perspective, like let's say in business, like we're so in our social media world. There's like, let's say if you just cater to the people that are off the internet, it's huge. Like the Monroe audience, like that are off, like it's huge. Like Kol Mavasar, which is a hotline in Yiddish, which people call to hear the news because they don't have access to like internet. You know how many people that is? You know how many people that is?
Wow.
Or like just like the amount of Yiddish language magazines that come out. They're not even reading English. I'm just saying that the Jewish world is huge.
Wow.
So I'd love to like, also I feel like a little responsibility because unfortunately, I don't know why. I mean, actually I do know why, but like there aren't many Hasidic women that are out there. And like, I think people have a misconception about Hasidic women. Like when somebody comes over to me and tells me, oh, you're so normal. I'm like, I read about that in the book. I'm like, why shouldn't I be normal?
Right.
And I think that people just need to see more normal Hasidic women out there. So I just would
the normal
love
girl
to like show the
who
world.
likes shopping and looking pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would love to show the world like, who we are.
Yeah. And like just to wrap it up, this is just like fun questions. What's something that people would be surprised to know about you? Yeah. It's a fun stumped question.
I have to think. Surprised about me. I think that people would be surprised that I am not this all the time. Like people think of me as very classy and very proper, and I think I'm classy, but I'm also very comfortable. And I'm like, let's say with makeup, I'm all or nothing. So which means like if I'm working, if I'm out there, if I'm going shopping, whatever, I want to look a certain way, I'm put on a full face. If not, I'm not the kind of woman that like has to have her eyeliner because she's home. I'm like, no. I'm like totally comfortable, totally like, I don't put on my wig to go put the garbage out, you know? I'm not that kind of person. And you'll totally see me in my local grocery sometimes, like looking all casual, you know? So I think
people also don't realize how funny you are. Like, you have a sense of humor.
Yeah, I'm funny? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Like, you're so fun. How do you unwind or nourish yourself at the end of a long day?
A tea, always a tea.
Same.
Sometimes a bath. That's a big one. If like I feel all my muscles, I need like a warm bath. A candle up. I'm very. You see, that's also like maybe I think people know by now because I speak about it. But like it was something that I needed to get used to. It's not something I saw growing up. Like my mother didn't like take care of herself in that way. She didn't go like for massages. She didn't like put on candles. She didn't like. It even sounded silly when the first time I remember I like made like a whole bath situation. I put on my candles and my bath bombs or whatever I was using. I felt like I felt stupid. I can't even explain to you. Like, imagine imagine you set yourself like a meal, like to eat lunch, and you take like Mickey Mouse plates, right? You would feel silly doing that. Like, come on, just eat a plastic plate.
Right.
Like,
but you're good at that. You're good at the details.
I learned, but I trained myself to do that. So that's how I unwind, like really taking care of myself. Sometimes I'll even put on calm music, like
music is amazing.
I'll put on a nice smelly candle. It's the scent and it's also like the ambiance in the room. Sometimes I'll watch a podcast, but I have to be in the mood of that. It depends what kind of day I had. If I heard too much people talking, I don't want to hear anyone talking anymore.
You need no noise.
But if I had a day that I can handle it, I like to watch something nice. Like it's usually like YouTube stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
If you could go back to your younger self, what's one piece of advice you would give her?
I don't know. I had a funny incident recently where I was sitting and filming with someone an episode, and somebody passed, and she's like, "Are you filming an episode about tznius?" I'm like, "Huh?" It was an outdoor thing. So I'm like, "Why should?" Because you both of you women look so tzniustic and beautiful. I was wearing a white shirt with like a vest. Pleated skirt, very classy. The other one was actually also wearing a white shirt with a blazer. And it hit me. You know why? Because I looked the same way as a teenager and I got the opposite messaging. So in my school, oh, your button is open. My button was open by the filming also, okay? But here she was saying, oh, you look so tznius and whatever. And as a teenager, I got like my button, I had like, you know, those 3-color bangles were installed? Yeah. Bangles, like one was silver, gold, and like copper. And my principal would be like, see what's on your hand? Like that shows on something. That show, like I'm telling you, they took apart everything.
Wow.
So I think I would tell my younger self, like the very same things that these people are criticizing, like other people are going to see it as beautiful. Like you're not even doing anything wrong. Like seriously, you're not doing anything wrong. Like, but I don't even think I would be able to like understand that. Like how can it be? It's because like it's just really, it's not even about tznius or halacha. It's all about people and good, positive people that just see the light and spark in you and in life and in humanity. That's really what it is, okay?
Right.
Tell me, if your collarbone is covered and your button is open, I don't see a problem with that. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm saying something very controversial if a hasidic woman is watching it. But like, literally, it was amazing how I was thinking, tznius. No, I didn't think of myself, oh, it was an episode on marriage. It wasn't even about tznius. But I didn't even think, okay, I'm going to dress tznius now. I was wearing the same things that I always loved. I would always dress classy.
Right. You were always you.
But like, I was considered like the cool girl.
Wow.
Because, I don't know, people are fetched at school, like squash.
So you would tell yourself, your younger self, just like, don't listen to...
I don't know what I would tell her. I'd tell her like, life is going to be so amazing once you step out of this stupidity. No, I'm still in here. I'm still in the system. I'm still hasidic. I'm still everything.
But everyone
I just
has
have
their
a
own
mind
system.
of my own.
Right.
I have a mind of my own. And when you're in a school system, for example, you could have a mind of your own, but to a certain extent. You're constantly, if you have a mind of your own, you're constantly doubting yourself and like, what's wrong with me? Because everyone else is fine with this.
Seems to be fine,
right? So what's wrong with me? And there was a period of time where I hated myself. I hated the fact that I had a problem with everything. I wish I was just like these girls. They're happy. They're talking about the baby brothers.
I still think like that.
They're so now I think about that, but I'm
I
totally,
ask my husband, like, why couldn't I just be like her? Like,
they sit in the park and they talk about their kids, how their kids likes their bath, and I'm like, why are all these women interested?
I want to be interested. I want to be interested. I really, it would just be so easy.
So my son, when I put him in the bath, I usually make it warm, and then he gets very antsy 10 minutes in. So who's interested?
I had the same thing. I was sitting on the bench and they were talking about the meats that were on sale in all the different supermarkets in the 5 towns. And I'm like, this is a real,
boring.
I'm alive right now. Like, this is an actual conversation. I'm like, what is going on? I couldn't say anything.
But are you interested in your neighbor's child about like a whole descriptive thing of like how he likes his bath for 5 minutes? Can go on? Are you interested?
I really don't care.
I know. So
I just give them a bath and we're done.
So what happens is when you're in the system and you're surrounded by a certain group of people, you automatically doubt yourself. But in life, if you're smart, you are your authentic self, and then you automatically attract the people that don't make you feel like you need to question yourself because they actually appreciate it, and then they're bringing you their interesting information, and you're both learning and growing together. So then you don't feel so weird anymore. And if somebody comes along a weirdo and tells you that you're crazy, well, it's fine. It gets filtered out by like buta b'shishim, like, you know?
Yeah. So you would tell your younger self, just like embrace who you are.
Just stick it through. No, survive. It's really survival. School is survival for me. It was literally like,
wow.
Yeah. Like I feel bad for my daughter sometimes when she struggles in school. Like I know it's hard.
It's hard.
So you have to just push it
also,
through.
they're with people for so many hours. Like, could you like going
and
back
you didn't
there?
choose the people.
And you don't choose the people, and you don't choose to hang out with those people, and you don't. Let's say you don't want to. Like, it's a lot of time to be social.
And you have to listen to boring, especially in high school. To like a teacher comes in and she decides to repeat it 7 times, and like you have to listen to it. And sometimes she's saying the same thing 7 times, and people are rewriting it 7 times. It's like I couldn't.
Right.
And like if you are not okay with it, you're not doing well in school, so you're not so smart.
Right.
But you could be
It's amazing to see this, you talking from a creative standpoint, from someone that like actually is successful and, you know, accomplished and is accomplishing that, like, you know, school's not the end all be all.
Yeah, by the way, in school I did get the messaging. I remember hearing school is not everything, life is after school, but it didn't mean anything to me. I was like, what do you mean school is not everything? It's everything.
Right, it's your life right now.
It was everything. It was like, if you don't do well in school, if everyone gets called up to get this certificate and you don't, it's embarrassing.
Yes.
Also, it's like every day, and I'm not patient to go to school, and I have to push myself to go to this place that I hate. So,
wow,
it's very hard. You just have to stick it through, and you're gonna try to do other things on the side. I did try, like, you're doing creative things. I did scrapbooking. I did other things. Try to, as much as possible, get your fulfillment outside of your framework, and you're gonna be okay, because then life is your stage. And then you could do anything. And especially today's day and age with social media.
You literally have a stage.
Like we said before,
yeah.
You could do anything. You don't need permission from anyone. You don't need protectia from anyone. You don't need pull. You just need to want to create a beautiful, creative life for yourself.
It's amazing.
A meaningful life for yourself. Yeah.
Raizy, this was amazing.
Yes, I love
Thank you so much for coming and talking. And this was just like your wisdom and your words. Thank you so much. This was beautiful.
It's mutual. Thank you for having me.